Now that we have learned how to use the different Acumen Fuse diagnostic analysis techniques, this lesson will cover some exercises where we can revise all of the techniques for ribbon analysis, phase analysis, trend analysis, intersection analysis, comparison analysis, and benchmark analysis. We will work through the exercise and provide answers as we progress. So we're going to open our workbook named My Workbook and work through different analysis exercises. Click on the fuse icon in the top left of the screen. In the window that opens, select My Workbook from the list of recent files. You'll see My Workbook in the left-hand pane. It will have Initial Plan as the project with 3 snapshots below it. Now click on the S2 Diagnostics tab, then click the Fuse button to run an analysis. For the first part of this exercise, we will start off with a ribbon analysis. So which ribbon has the best quality score? The answer is 1 year update, 30%. Now let's ribbonize by WBS, level 2. So from the fields pull down, choose Selected Field, General WBS Code. Click the fields pull down again and select Delimiter, Number of Levels 2, then click Fuse. This time you will see all of the ribbons displayed at WBS level 2. Now we're going to change this delimited view to hierarchical. So this time, click the fields pull down and select Delimiter, Show Hierarchy. Then click Fuse. The number of levels will still be 2, but this time you'll see that for each project there will be a project ribbon at the highest WBS level, similar to a summary bar. Next, we're going to ribbonize by resource. So click on the Resources button, then click Fuse. Which resource has the highest score? The answer, Construction Team 2, at 75%. Now we will ribbonize by location. Select the fields pull down and choose Selected Field General Location, then click Fuse. Note that in this case it doesn't matter which grouping type is selected. Location doesn't have different levels. Which location has the highest score? The answer, Offshore at 56%. Now click the Projects button to reset the ribbons and click Fuse again. Next, we're going to isolate the 1 year update, so double click on it to isolate it. Then let's ribbonize this ribbon by location. Select the fields pull down and make sure that the selected field is set to location. Click the top part of the Fields button to set the grouping, then click the Fuse button. So now we can look at 4 different locations for the 1 year update. How many critical activities are there in the northern region? The answer, 5 critical activities. Next, we're going to display a stacked column graph for our locations. So the graph is going to appear in the Ribbon Analyzer pane because we are looking at 4 different locations over their whole timeline. From the Ribbons group, select the Charts pull-down and choose Stacked Column. Then click the Charts button to display the graph. Now on this graph, we are going to display missing logic, critical, and negative float. Make sure that these metrics are selected in the Ribbon Analyzer. How many critical activities are in offshore? The answer, 12 critical activities. Deselect the Charts button. For the last part of this ribbon analysis, we are going to change the ribbon view to cost. We'll do this by selecting the cost from our ribbon view options in the bottom pane. So change the ribbon view to cost, then click Fuse to display the results. Note that the ribbon pane is displaying the initial plan and 3 snapshots again. Now, this time, we are going to ribbonize by resources and then sort the ribbons by cost overrun. So click the Resources button, then click Fuse. Once the results are displayed in the Ribbon Analyzer pane, right-click on the header for Cost Overrun and choose Sort Ascending. Which resource has the lowest cost overrun? How much and what percentage? You will need to drag the column divider over to the left to expand all of the Ribbon Analyzer columns and view the costs. The answer? Design Team at 121,200,000, 37%. Now, right-click on the Cost Overrun metric heading and clear the sorting. Drag the column divider back to the right. Next, we'll change the ribbon view back to Schedule Quality, so click on Schedule Quality. Next, click on the Home icon to reset the Ribbons pane. Then click on the Projects button to reset all of the ribbons. You can click the Fuse button if you wish. Then save the workbook by clicking the little Save icon in the top left of the window. For our phase analysis exercise, we're going to analyze the current schedule. Make sure that the Projects button is selected to display all of our projects. Then double-click on the current schedule to isolate it. Now in the Phases timeline, we're going to change the time interval to quarters. Select Quarters from the Interval pull-down, then click Fuse. We want to analyze the phases to find out the following. Which quarter has the most negative float? Which quarter has the highest number of lags? And which quarter has the highest logic density? Now the Phase Analyzer pane looks very cluttered, so let's give it a bit more space by widening the pane. Select the column divider and drag it way over to the right. Now we can see what's going on. So, which quarter has the most negative float? The answer, Quarter 2, 2012, 75%. Which quarter has the highest number of lags? Answer, Quarter 4, 2010, 7 lags. Which quarter has the highest logic density? The answer, Quarter 3, 2012, 3.2. Now drag the column divider back to approximately the center of the window. Next, we are going to plot the logic density and negative float as a stacked area chart. Firstly, click on Reset Dates to reset the phases back to years, then click Fuse. Then select the Charts pull-down from the Phases group and choose the Stacked Area Chart. Click the Chart button to view the chart. Make sure that the metrics for logic density and negative float are selected. So, which phase displays the highest negative float? The answer, 2012, 16 occurrences. Deselect the Charts button. At this point, you could copy and paste the graph to an external program, such as Excel or PowerPoint, if you wished. Next, we are going to change the ribbon view to Baseline Compliance. So select Baseline Compliance from the Ribbon Views pane at the bottom, then click Fuse. We are going to zoom into 2010, so click on the magnifying glass in the title header for 2010. The window will zoom into 2010 by quarters. For the last part, we're going to plot a line graph by phase for Start Compliance and Finish Compliance. So, from the Charts pull-down in the Phases group, select Line. Then click the Charts button to display the graph. Make sure that only Start Compliance and Finish Compliance are selected. So, which quarter shows the lowest Start Compliance? The answer, Quarter 3, 2010, 75%. Deselect the Charts button, then click Reset Dates if necessary. Finally, select the Schedule Quality ribbon view again and click Fuse. Click the Home icon and then click on Projects to reset the ribbons. Save the worksheet by clicking the Save icon at the top left of the window. For the next part of this exercise, we're going to run a trend analysis. Firstly, we're going to ribbonize by CAM. So in the Fields pull-down, choose Selected Fields, General, CAM to group by CAM. In the Phases group in the top menu, click the Trend Analysis button. Then click the Fuse button. You'll notice that the phases across the top have changed to the initial plan and 3 snapshots. Now look at the ribbon for Terry Jones. How many activities are included for Terry Jones? The answer? 66 activities. That is 16 plus 16 plus 17 plus 17. Now this time we want to isolate the ribbon for Terry Jones. Double-click on Terry Jones's ribbon title. Next, select the Charts pull-down from the Phases group. Choose a line graph, then click the Charts button to display the graph. Make sure that only Score is selected from the Phase Analysis metrics. What are the trend values for the score through Initial Plan, 1 month update, 1 year update, and Current Schedule? So the answers are Initial Plan 19%, 1 month update 19%, 1 year update 24%, Current Schedule 6%. Deselect the Charts button and deselect the Trend Analysis button. Click the Home icon and then click on Projects to reset the ribbons. Save the worksheet by clicking the Save icon at the top left of the window. Now, for our intersection analysis, we are going to analyze the 1 year update. Make sure that the Projects button is selected to display all of our projects, then click Fuse. Then double-click on the 1 year update to isolate it. Next, we want to ribbonize by location. From the Fields pull-down, choose Selected Fields, General, Location. Then click the Fields button to group by location. Click the Fuse button. The 4 ribbons for location will be displayed. Now click on the Metrics tab on the far left of the workspace and the Metrics pane will open. We're going to choose Number of Lags for our intersection metric. So right-click on Number of Lags and select Add to Intersection Analyzer. Actually, this is the only option available because the other options have already been used. Click the Fuse button to calculate the results. Which location and time phase year has the highest number of lags? The answer? Gulf 2010, 7 lags. Next, select the Charts pull-down from Intersections in the top menu. Choose a stacked bar graph with a legend. Then click the Charts button to display the graph. Make sure that you select all of the locations from the left of the ribbons pane. Verify the highest number of lags and year by hovering the mouse over the respective bar. You can see that it is Gulf with 7 lags in 2010. Deselect the Intersection Charts button. Click the Home icon, then click on Projects to reset the ribbons. Remove the metric for number of lags by clicking the X next to the metric name in the left-hand pane. Save the worksheet by clicking the Save icon at the top left of the window. The next part of this exercise will be a comparison analysis. Make sure that the Projects button is selected to display all of our projects, then click Fuse. For this exercise, we're going to ribbonize by current schedule, then we are going to compare the results for missing logic and number of lags. So double-click on current schedule to isolate it. In the Ribbon Analyzer panel, select the cell for missing logic, then click the Compare button in the top menu. Lastly, select the cell for number of lags from the Ribbon Analyzer panel. Which activities fail both tests, i.e. present in both? Make sure that only the button for present in both is selected. Then the answer is activity 0200, 0240 and 0100. There are 3 activities. Close the compare window. Now this time for phase 2012, in the phase analyzer window, select the cell for missing logic, then compare, then select the cell for number of lags. So in 2012, which activities failed both tests? Again, make sure that only the button for present in both is selected. The answer is activity 0240. Close the compare window. Click the home icon and then click on projects to reset the ribbons. Save the worksheet by clicking the save icon at the top left of the window. The last part of the series of exercises will be a benchmark analysis. So make sure that the Projects button is selected to display all of our projects. Then click Fuse. Now we are going to select our 1-month update as our benchmark ribbon. So select the header for the 1-month update. Click on Other Settings, then hover over Benchmark Comparison and make sure that Based on Metric Primary Formula is selected. Click the Benchmark Comparison button to view the results. So how do the number of leads in the current schedule compare with the benchmark? Is it a positive or negative impact? And how do you know? Okay, the answer is number of leads in the current schedule is 2, whereas the benchmark was 0. The number of leads in the current schedule has gone up and the arrow is red in color. Therefore, it has a negative impact. Now click on the phase for 2012. Are the number of lags in 2013 higher or lower than 2012? Is this a positive or negative impact? The answer? The number of lags is lower in 2013. So the number of lags has gone down and the arrow is green in color. Therefore, it is a positive impact. Click on the home icon and then click on Projects to reset the ribbons. Save the worksheet by clicking the Save icon at the top left of the window. Click the Acumen Fuse icon in the top left and click Close. You can save the workbook if you wish. In the next lesson, we are going to learn how to use the activity browser. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the activity browser. So make sure that the sample workbook is open in the left pane. Select the S2 Diagnostics tab, then click the Fuse button. The activity browser pane will be in the lower right of the workspace, and most likely it will be blank. For now, just click on the ribbon description for initial plan. You will note that the activity browser now displays all of the activities for the initial plan, 54 activities in total. In addition, all the activities will be displayed in the ribbon for the initial plan. Now click the home icon to reset the ribbons. So how do we use the activity browser? We are going to cover the following functions of the activity browser. Isolate and identify grouped, sorted and intersected activities, the Smart Gantt filter, exclusions and annotations. So the activity browser can report specific data based on a given criteria. It is a versatile way of viewing combinations of activities. For example, you can view activities in an entire ribbon, activities in an entire phase, or activities in an intersection of a ribbon and a phase. You will also be able to display specific activities that have triggered the tripwire for a ribbon, phase, or intersection metric. So for metrics that have a tripwire defined, you'll see the specific activities that triggered the tripwire. We will be discussing tripwires for metrics in a later lesson. Tripwires determine the good and bad thresholds, or pass and fail. Let's go ahead and isolate the 6-month update by double-clicking its description. Firstly, we're going to look at the display options. So, group the project by resource by clicking the Resources button, then click Fuse to display the data. Now, select the ribbon description for Contractor B. You'll note that all the activities are displayed in the Activity Browser, as well as the selected ribbon. The activities may be shown in other ribbons if they are common to that other ribbon. Next, click on the phase header for 2012. This time the Activity Browser will display all of the activities for the selected phase. You'll see that 13 activities fall in the phase 2012 across Construction Team 1, Construction Team 2, and Contractor B. Now say we want to identify activities that touch the ribbon and phase intersection for Contractor B and phase 2012. Simply select the intersection and it will highlight the area with a pale yellow overlay. In the Activity Browser, you'll see that 4 activities have been displayed for the intersection of Contractor B in 2012. Now let's group our 6-month project by activity status. So from the Fields drop-down, choose Selected Field, General, Activity Status to group the activity ribbons. Click Fuse to show the activities. Then click the header for Complete. You'll see that there are 8 completed activities displayed in the Activity Browser. What we want to do next is introduce an intersection metric into the Activity Status pane. So click on the Metrics tab on the left to open the metrics list. Expand the folder for Advanced, then expand the Completed folder. Right-click on the metric for Completed on Schedule and add it to the Intersection Analyzer. Then click Fuse to view the result. Now, in the intersection cell for 2010, you'll note that 4 activities have been identified. Click in this cell and the 4 activities that were completed on schedule will be displayed in the Activity Browser. Now go ahead and remove the metric by clicking on the X in the intersection name. Then deselect the Fields button. Click Fuse to reset the 6-month update. For the next example, we're going to select a ribbon analyzer cell. So select the cell for hard constraints. 4 activities with hard constraints will be displayed in the Activity Browser and the project ribbon. Now similarly for phase year 2012, select the cell for critical in the phase analyzer. You'll see that 10 activities are displayed in the Activity Browser, as well as the ribbon for the 6-month update. If you have a set of activities displayed in the Activity Browser, you can create a Smart Gantt filter for just that set of activities. This filter will then be available to be used in the S1 Projects tab in the Smart Gantt chart. It's very easy to create a Smart Gantt filter. So, using our results for the previous example, we have just identified critical activities for the phase year 2012. In the Activity Browser pane, the first icon is shaped like a filter funnel. Simply click on the icon and a pop-up will appear where you can name and save your Smart Gantt filter. The default name for the filter will be Critical in 2012. Click OK to save the filter. Now, where do we find this filter? Click on the S1 Projects tab. In the Activities group in the top menu, expand the group by clicking the little arrow on the bottom right. The Smart Gantt configuration window will open. Click on the Filters tab. There you will see our filter in the available filters. Delete our filter by selecting it and clicking the Delete button. Then click OK to close the window. Click the S2 Diagnostics button again. Then click on the Home icon and make sure that the Project button is selected to reset the ribbons. then click Fuse. Next, we're going to look at the options for exclusions in the activity browser. There may be specific reasons where you want to exclude certain activities from your metric analysis. For example, the project start and finish milestones could be excluded because they are open-ended activities. We must remember, however, that if we add an exclusion to our activity browser list, we must always rerun the Fuse analysis. So select the ribbon header for initial plan to display all of its activities in the activity browser. Make a note of the ribbon analyzer score. It should be 26%. Now, in the activity browser, enter an exclusions checkmark for the activities project start and project finish. Then click Fuse again. You will see that the ribbon analyzer score is now 30%. This is because the checked activities have been excluded from the analysis. This is a much more realistic score because the start and finish milestones logic are open-ended, and they will cause the metric to fail. Under the Fuse button, there is a pull-down with options that can be selected or deselected. The first option is Analyze Visible Activities Only. This applies to the actual visible activities in your timeline when you run a Fuse analysis. For example, you can zoom in or out of the timeline to focus on a certain phase or zoom out to see more, or all of the phases. If you select this option, Acumen will only analyze the activities that are visible in the timeline pane and ignore everything else. Alternatively, if this option is not selected, Acumen will analyze all activities in the project. For now, make sure the option is selected. Next, we have the variable definition where we can define the values of workbook and project variables. We will not be using this option for the course, so make sure that it is deselected. With the next three options, we can elect to include exclusions. This means that excluded activities will be included in the analysis. Usually, we would leave this deselected. Then, clear exclusions. This clears activities that were selected for exclusion from the analysis. Then, clear annotations. This clears all activity annotations. Now click on the Fuse pull-down, then select Clear Exclusions. Click the Fuse button, then select the Initial Plan header to display the activities. You'll note that the excluded activities are now deselected and are included in the analysis. The score is back to 26%. We can ignore the Show Log option in the Fuse pull-down. You can also exclude all activities in the activity browser by clicking the button Exclude All. Click this button. You'll note that all activities in the activity browser are now excluded. To clear all exclusions in the activity browser, we would select the button to clear all exclusions from the drop-down under the Fuse icon. Then you will need to click Fuse before all the exclusion checkmarks are removed from activities in the activity browser. Now let's have a look at annotations in the activity browser. Click the Home icon to reset the ribbons. Then click on Initial Plan to display all of the initial plan activities in the activity browser. Now, annotations are notes that can be added to the list of activities displayed in the activity browser. To add a note or annotation to an activity in the activity browser, you would use the Notes icon to the left of each activity. So, you can add an annotation to a single activity or multiple activities. You can also add multiple annotations to an activity by clicking the Activities Notes icon again. As an example, in the activity browser, click on the Notes icon for Project Start. A small pop-up window will appear where you can enter a note or annotation about the selected activity. Type Start into the Notes field and click OK. Click on the Notes icon for a different activity. You'll see that the field is blank, so only the Project Start has a note. Click Project Start again to confirm the note. Then click Cancel. In some versions of Acumen Fuse, you will see that a little pen icon appears in the Notes button where there is a note. For some reason, my version does not display the pen icon, so don't be alarmed if you don't see it. Now we're going to add a global annotation to all of the activities. Let's select the cell for number of leads for the initial plan in the ribbon analyzer. In the activity browser, you will see that the header tells us that there are 5 leads in the project initial plan. Now when you annotate globally, the annotation will be the same as the header in the activity browser pane. In this case, it will be number of leads. To add a global annotation, simply click the global icon in the top of the activity browser pane. Now inspect some of the 5 activities and you'll see that they've all been annotated with number of leads. To clear all activity notes and annotations, click on the Fuse pull-down and select Clear Annotations. You can confirm by clicking on any notes button in the activity browser window. Click on the home icon to reset the ribbons. In the next lesson, we will learn about the different activity modes and views.